this particular case is a case that is a result of a court order, that we have the judicial system involved, that the government is operating under the supervision or under the authority of a federal judge, and there's an appeal being taken to it. The idea that somehow that the government can never get information to defend the national security because someone might sometime abuse information is absurd. Everything is susceptible to abuse.
That was former Attorney General John Ashcroft. Maria earlier defending the FBI's demand that Apple, of Apple. But I got to tell you, their rivals all joining them. Silicon Valley circling the wagons. They do not agree. Twitter, in fact, just now, CEO Jack Dorsey tweeting just moments ago that his company stands with Tim Cook and Apple and thanked them for his leadership. This is, as a group, represents companies. We're talking Google, Microsoft. They're all speaking out loud. WhatsApp. That no company should be forced to build backdoors to their own technology. Meanwhile, today, the FBI searched the home of one of the Farouk brothers in Southern California. They didn't make any arrests, but everyone hoping on the edge of their seats that this thing wraps up real soon. Back with me, Bryan, Morgan, and Charlie. Bryan, we started talking about this a little bit yesterday, ran out of time. I should also alert the audience that the Senate Intel Committee chairman is working on an encryption bill. Is that what it's going to take? Is Congress going to have to get involved in this?
It's looking like it, and isn't that disappointing and sad that corporations and corporate America can't rally to the cause of freedom? Now, I understand that this is a difficult issue. We certainly have the judicial system that will step up and get involved. But what a shame that these companies don't see the obvious, which is at some point there will be another terrorist attack. And to encrypt beyond a reasonable degree, it's just unacceptable.
But what happens, though, whenever there's thieves steal our information, we get upset that these companies didn't protect it? I mean, the flip side of that, how do you say there's a limited amount of protection that we should have in these devices that we own?
Well, here's the bottom line. Privacy is dead, and Silicon Valley has killed it. You know, Silicon Valley and these entities that are on the news now talking about how important privacy is, their bottom lines, their business model, it is built on taking our data and selling it.
Right.
There is no privacy.
Right.
So for Tim Cook and his ilk to stand up and now be the defenders of freedom and defenders of the system is just ridiculous.
I tell you, I mean, Google, for instance, I mean, they have the trucks that go by, they satellite your home, they know everything about you. So they do know everything about us. There are still some people out there that say, you know what, it's still not American. There's something wrong. Judge Napolitano here, you know, really a great legal mind, saying you can't force a company to go against their own will, spend their own money to do something that defeats their own product, Morgan.
Well, listen, far be it from me to argue with Judge Napolitano, but I think that there's no corporation that's above the law, and no corporation should be above the law. I think privacy, this is a real issue. This is a real concern. I personally think that this is a bit of a PR stunt by Tim Cook. If you look at what's happened with Apple since Steve Jobs passed away, this is a great American company, but it's really been somewhat fledgling. They have the new products. The Apple Watch was a big flop. So this is really the opportunity from a PR perspective for Tim Cook and Apple to come out and be the white knight of security.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
I mean, I understand that he wants to also, you know, be a, you know, sort of like Larry Holmes following Muhammad Ali. He was in a no-win situation, Charlie, and everyone's saying ultimately he's in a no-win situation here too.
Well, yeah, but I will push back a little bit with the other panelists. I mean, we have to ask ourselves, where does the Fourth Amendment begin and end? And I'll say, I don't think privacy is absolutely dead. I mean, in the mentality that yes, our data is shared and, you know, swapped with other companies, I can understand that point to a certain extent. However, are we going to accept that the federal government can put forth a ruling and tell a private corporation that they have to do something? And that's the question. Now, Apple's going to appeal this, and this is going to set a precedent for cybersecurity for the next 20, 30, 100 years to come. And quite frankly, I'm on the side.
But the government tells corporations and people what to do every day. The government forces us to pay taxes.
But should they?
The government forces us to have a driver's license. But yes, I mean, the government does tell people and institutions what to do. I
don't agree with that. See, I don't agree the government should tell private corporations.
So, do you follow the speed limit? That's the government telling you what to do.
Hold on a second.
No, I'm not holding on. Here's the bottom line. If terrorists attack us tomorrow,
so are we going to have privacy or are we going to have freedom?
And that's the question. And it comes down to using the Apple iPhone or not using the Apple iPhone, then that company is responsible.
Charlie?
So the question is, whether or not we are going to defend the Fourth Amendment, or are we going to sacrifice privacy and we're going to put forth the government to be able to tell private corporations what to do. And quite frankly, I think Apple has a great argument here. This will set an unprecedented legal decision that will put many companies in jeopardy for the next 20 or 30 years, and we should understand Apple's perspective here.
Right.
And the fact these other Silicon Valley companies are siding with them, I think, is a really strong statement.
Although there's probably also an economic element to it also. You guys are both very eloquent, and we know this is not going away. Thanks a lot.